Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in to another episode from Mark. This is Mark Melbourne TV, and I'm not going to discuss Bitcoin too much. It's currently sitting at 11,100. Unless it goes above 11,500 or goes below 9,000, I don't think there's confirmation of any particular big moves yet. It is important to stay adaptable. Don't get into the mindset that it definitely is going to hit all-time highs or it's going back down to $3,000, for example. I've taken this time to reflect a little bit on cryptocurrency and I suppose the cycles that we've gone through. So a lot of people were expecting that alt season in January to be a lot higher than it was. It was cut short pretty abruptly. It was a lot of new money in comparison to, I suppose, May last year, where we had an alt run as well. There was a lot of new money, a lot of sign-ups, a lot of excitement. I think a lot of the pump was really just belief or hope that the prices would continue to go up. So I think it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. We have seen some development in cryptocurrency, but not justified by the increase or run up we've seen, both in Bitcoin up to 20,000 and then the most recent alt run. So I think this is sort of good. If we actually look at Google searches and trends, we actually see it has leveled out quite a bit. January, December was the peak of the sort of searches for Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the big terms associated with cryptocurrency. However, this has really leveled right off, and this is evident. So even around the workplace and amongst my friends that aren't invested in crypto but are interested, not too many conversations are being discussed around cryptocurrency, but it is in the back of people's mind that it was and it still is something that is not going away. So at least that idea for the average person investing in cryptocurrency, the idea that it is a scam and something that's going to pass, is sort of changing in people's beliefs anyway. So the logic is, and what will continue to happen is we'll see cycles. So we'll see large pumps and then large subsequent dumps after these pumps as a result of people's emotions and also being in a speculative industry. So compared to last year, we've had an incredible run. 2017 was like no other year. Even reflecting back when I first got into crypto, the market space was tiny. Bitcoin was only sitting at about $100 billion as a market cap. And at the time, I had wished I got in earlier, but a lot of the lessons I learned were in 2017 during that run up of all the, fork craze and excitement around Bitcoin forks and all the free money and also the alt season from last time. So I think what I would have done is been more open. So thinking about the possibility of me being wrong and not having complete conviction. However, still finding supporting arguments for why I should say in an investment, but also looking at the possibility of being wrong. So an example of this is investing in coins with a lot of hype. So for example, I got into Icon, which I think will still do well. However, I have averaged down and hoped for, I guess, another alt round cycle, which will happen. But that means, will I lose money? Probably not, because I'm going to hold out. But there would have been better opportunities that I could have invested in during this time. So it definitely makes me realize that the way to sort of accumulate wealth, and if you are trying to accumulate wealth in cryptocurrency, I would measure this by the amount of Bitcoins you have, as US dollar is good to measure how much profit you've made in a trade, but Bitcoin is an indication of how much Bitcoin you've accumulated or how well your holdings are doing against Bitcoin, if you believe that Bitcoin will ultimately be the largest cryptocurrency, at least in the next few years. And I do see that happening. So I don't see any sort of flippening happening in the next year or two. So I will try to continue to accumulate Bitcoin. Look, I think in 2018, cryptocurrency and a lot of the hype around certain themes like interoperability and I suppose privacy was another one, which I think will continue to be. But things like AI, blockchain and smart learning blockchain and interoperability, I think, and another big one is decentralized exchanges like Waves and BitShares and some of these other decentralized exchanges. I think we're still too early for that. So we're already starting the last month of the quarter for 2018. The last month of the first quarter of 2018, and there probably won't be as much development as people think there is going to happen in 2018. I think we're going to see an incredible run, and there's going to be another peak, probably definitely reaching 1 trillion market cap in 2018. I have no doubt about that. However, I think where we'll see proper practical and real world use case development of blockchain technology will probably be within sort of transactional use, so over the counter stuff. Like we'll finally see transactions times almost instant, so like Bitcoin will remain under 2 or 3 minutes for a transaction, which is great. So that was a big issue at the end of 2017, people saying Bitcoin not being a practical use, and the high transaction fees as well as the slow confirmation times made it an impractical store of value or transactional cryptocurrency. However, I think this is going to change, and we're going to see this to be the norm. So instant transactions, large amounts of transactions, and also very low fees. It's great to see Binance and a lot of these large exchanges dropping in fees as well for withdrawals, and also just general fees related to Bitcoin and trading of cryptocurrencies. So that's always good. I think the industries that are going to be disrupted will be the real estate industry, where there's high fees for having middlemen involved in the supply chain or exchange of goods from one party to another party. So a lot of these industries will be, I suppose, transactional industries like real estate, legal services, and any services that are facilitated by middlemen. I think with the introduction of smart contracts, we may start to see first iterations of smart contracts in real world use. However, things like remittances and over-the-counter use, and let's face it, a lot of the transactional use for Bitcoin in a real world situation where you're trading cryptocurrency for a good or service really isn't not happening just yet, besides for the purchases of illegal products like drugs over the dark web and other illegal stuff over the internet. However, I think this will change, and we can see that banks are openly coming out and saying that they're trying to embrace the technology. I know that cybersecurity is going to be an industry that is growing in 2018 and will continue to grow over the next couple of years. I have a friend that works in one of the 4 big banks in Australia, and she said that in her industry, although they're laying off a lot of employees, they are actually hiring just as many employees in network security. So this means that cybersecurity and risk around the financial industry of cyber attacks and of general network attacks will be something of importance to large corporations like banking institutions. So this, speaking of, I guess, being in Australia, there is some retailers that are starting to promote Bitcoin. So I came across Boost in my local shopping center, and basically they're running a promotion where you run into a draw of winning 4 Bitcoins for 4 different winners. So that's 1 Bitcoin per winner. And this is sort of interesting because I haven't seen too much promotion of Bitcoin specifically in retail outlets besides seeing some stuff online. Also, I think we will see a bit more of this promotion in the mainstream, which is kind of exciting. I think going back to what I was saying, in 2018, I think we'll see a lot of practical use of actual instant transactions and low fees, and not so much development around the decentralized exchanges and interoperability where one blockchain works with another blockchain and is used in actual industries like, you know, real estate, hospitals, or between hospitals and healthcare providers, or insurance providers, for example, like with Icon, for example. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave the video at that. What I did want to discuss though is I'm based here in Melbourne, and I'm looking at the possibility of collaborating and hopefully sharing some more interesting content. So if you're from Melbourne and you're creating content already and you're looking for an opportunity to work with somebody else and hopefully come up with some more interesting content, I'm based here in Melbourne, and I'd like to put it out there that I'd like to meet up and potentially discuss and maybe work on a collaborative video together. Also, I need somebody to help me with my thumbnails because quite frankly, my thumbnails on my YouTube videos are not so great. And if you know somebody or you can help out with helping me post or creating these thumbnails once per week, that would be great. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll create more videos. Not too much to discuss in terms of prices. I think if Bitcoin stays within this range, we may see altcoins have a chance at going for a rise. However, at this stage, I'm just following the markets, looking for news, and same as you guys, just keeping an eye on news, looking for confirmation of either Bitcoin breakout or a bearish divergence. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. So thanks for joining me, guys. Catch you next time.